What superpower is ruined the most by real world physics? Super speed. The light speed limit. Air resistance and friction all kind of spoil it. I've always thought Batman's true superpower is the ability to do more than humanly possible in a day. Like, the guy has time to run $1 billion company, socialize, chase gorgeous women, engineer and build a ton of secret gadgetry, train extensively in various martial arts, analyze crime scenes, hunt supervillains, and still stay out all night watching for petty crooks to beat up. No f***ing way one guy is doing all of that in 24 hours. Not even if he never, ever slept. Well, if Cyclops really does shoot beams of pure force out of his eyes with as much power as seen in movies, comics, cartoons, Newton's third law says he would also break his own neck. Being able to walk through walls. I mean, gravity would make you go through floors too. The ability to stop time. If you stopped everything from moving, then the air would stop and you couldn't move through it. So sure, you could stop time, but you won't be able to move while time is stopped. I feel a lot of superpowers take for granted that the air is something we have to displace when we move. Super strength. You pick up the heavy thing, but now the weight of the heavy thing is placed on the surface area of your palms. Your hands now either dent or go right through the heavy thing depending on how heavy the heavy thing is. Real Chance OP is a writer for The Big Bang Theory looking for cheap Sheldon gags. Super strength. For example, Superman lifting an entire train, car or skyscraper. That shit would just snap in half. Or crumble. Like this. Teleportation. Wherever you teleport to would cause a huge explosion where you appear, since all that air needs to get out of the way of your body. Telekinesis. You could accidentally kill someone thinking about it. Imagine the intrusive thoughts that we get every now and then. TED on YouTube actually did a series pretty much ruining the most common superpowers with physics. Here are the links. Flight. Super strength. In Jessica Jones. She has super strength, but she gets hurt like anyone else, although apparently she heals a bit faster. In other words, have fun fracturing multiple bones in your hand and arm when you throw that inhumanly powerful punch and hit a brick wall or something instead. Time travel. Just because you can travel through time doesn't mean you can travel through space. If you tried time traveling to even 1 second ago, you would be thousands, millions, billions, of miles away from your original location because everything in the universe is moving. If anyone has literature that addresses this, please let me know. Shrinking. Ginormous breasts that are still perky. If anyone's interested, there's a good book called The Physics of Superheroes. See, I always imagined that superpowers came with secondary powers that on their own wouldn't mean much, but also meant that they allowed the superpowers to function in the ideal manner. Like, for instance, super hearing would come with the ability to selectively tune in and out of what you want to hear, so you don't have to constantly be bombarded with minutiae in someone's dinner conversation from across town. Super speed. Friction reducer. Invulnerability. An awareness that allows you to still be cut open for life-saving surgery but not get stabbed by a mugger in an alleyway. You know. Stuff. Super strength. It's like the most common comic book power. And it makes no sense. You can't punch someone into orbit. Unless you happen to also be super fast. Ditto for super jumping. Strength isn't speed. Unless you weigh more than the thing you are trying to affect. You're very limited. Lift a building? No. You just tore a chunk from it. Materials that shatter because they can't deform quickly enough. I wish there was a hero with realistic super strength. It would be hilarious. Catching someone falling a few feet before they hit the ground. How is landing in Superman's arms while he's flying up horizontally 10 feet from the ground any different from hitting the ground? I always wondered about Superman's shits. If his colon is as powerful as the rest of his physiology, wouldn't his shits be compacted to the density of a dying sun? And they'd fire out of his ass like a shot from a 12 gauge. Guarantee the guy cracks the bowl every time. Immortality. This real world is going to end. All of them are. But not you. You get to just float around in the not void after the heat death of the universe for eternity, hoping beyond hope that you'll somehow manage to get sucked into a different universe where maybe, just maybe, you'll get to a planet with a civilization and they won't just throw you in a volcano where you'll simmer undying for a long time. Anyway, maybe, just maybe, you'll get to a civilization and be able to work with them and they'll be able to figure out some way to travel through the multiverse. Then you can spend forever moving among universes hoping desperately that there is one out there somewhere somehow that negates your horrible curse of a superpower and finally bring you the blessed relief of death. Basically, all of them. Telepathy, reading minds, would be pretty hard to do effectively. Most people's thoughts are a random jumble of a mess. Only coherent to themselves. If you want specific information, you basically have to wait till that guy thinks it. As Snape says in Harry Potter, thoughts and memories are etched on the insides of people's skulls. Something like super hearing or X-ray vision would be super annoying. Since you can't really regulate the degree of senses. Just like you can't just decide to stop seeing or listening to anything beyond 25 meters from where you are. Wolverine's healing factor doesn't reduce the pain he experiences. The way he deals with it in the comics is just by being tough. I don't think I'd be able to handle it. There's nothing here that a little rational superhero fiction can't explain away. Aquaman's power to talk to fish cause fish can talk mayo. The ability to lift heavy objects with your mind while flying invisible backwards through time by teleporting infinitely small distances while moving faster than light through walls and burning things with your eyes. Literally every F-king superpower that ever has been created. Including Batman's lack of a superpower and also Russia and China. Invisibility. If your retina were invisible, light could not be projected on it, rendering you functionally blind. Time travel. The Earth is not in the same place if you go back or forward in time. X-ray vision. In a land of rampant obesity it would be more curse than blessing. North Korea. All of them. That's kind of the point, right? Iron Man suits. No matter how well designed the suit, when you shoot down and do your awesome 3-point landing, cracking the ground beneath you, you're going from hundreds of mph to zero real quick. This tends to have adverse effects on your health. Iron Man would be crushed by the G-forces he endures in his suit. Not sure if they ever addressed that. Hulk's pants. The Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. Okay. What superpower would still be useful? That's the question. X-ray vision. Rapid healing. Freezing time. Light wouldn't move, so you'd just go blind. Freezing time. It means your heart would stop doing its job, as well as every other organ. Your brain would die due to lack of oxygen, and after that, not that it would matter anymore. Your limbs would die from necrosis. Would not even be painful though, because your synapses could not deliver information anymore. So you would fall unconscious as soon as the time freeze starts. Oh. And the same would happen to every other living being. Not even considering stars and the whole universe here. So, let's just conclude that freezing time would be the most bollock superpower ever. Unless your aim is to FCK up 8 billion years of development, evolution, and history of everything and everyone in the universe. In that case, it would be dope. X-ray vision, there's no way to turn it off because if you close your eyes you just look through them. Super strength. You would never be able to use it the way you see Hulk or Superman does. Instead you would just rip holes in everything you touch and stomp through any surface you walk on. This, http image com/740,706,224,638 pap 01/95 pressure 4-638 jpg CB equals 1,404,686,945 is what is happening when you put your hand on something.